Good afternoon. My name is Jocelyn Sarita, and I will be presenting the findings of my thesis, which was titled The Remediation Strategies for the Rehabilitation of the Rosario Mine Tailings Pond. This thesis project was conducted in cooperation with the Old College School of Innovation and also with a university in the Dominican Republic called UFAM. Now, the actual project site where we conducted our field work was located in a country called the Dominican Republic, which is located in the Caribbean, quite a ways south of Canada, where I'm actually from. But as you can see, it's located on the island of Hispaniola, which is shared with the country of Haiti. The Dominican Republic basically encompasses a large portion of the eastern half of the island. Here's a more detailed map of the actual country of the Dominican Republic. The project site was in the Cotuí region, which is located in the central part of the Dominican Republic. The topography in this area of the country is quite mountainous, maybe not in terms of what the Italian or Canadian mountains would be, but they're definitely in the mountainous region. Now you can see located in the very south is the capital, Santo Domingo, and this area up here is, like I said, where the actual mine site is located. Here's an even more detailed map that shows you a little bit more detail where the area is. The place where we were based out of was called a city called Arabacoa. This is also where the university that we were working with, UFAM, is located, and they're based out of there. The actual project site is about an hour and a half drive from here, so we would just drive from Arabacoa out to the site. Now, here is a picture of the actual mine site. Now, I'll give you a little bit of background here on how it was set up. Initially, there were greenhouse trials that were done, so samples of this soil that are actually on the mine tailings pond were taken and brought back to the university, and several different amendments were tested in order to see, which ones would be the most valuable to actually scale up and do a pilot scale project out on this mine tailings pond. So I guess I'll explain also what the mine tailings pond is. So we have the actual, when they're actually mining gold and they're pulling off all of the, basically they're pulling apart the mountain to try to find gold. And all of this that you see here in this photograph is waste rock from that process. So basically, the rock is pulverized and it comes out and it's deposited within a valley, and that's traditionally how all of the waste from a mine is dealt with. Now, this is approximately the 1950s when this mine was actually brought into commission, and it happens to be the largest open pit gold mine in the Western Hemisphere, which is pretty phenomenal. We got a full tour of the mine site, which was an excellent experience, because not many people get to actually go in there and see what it's all about. Anyway, this project site, you can see basically all around the outside is barren tailings. When this site was initially set up, there was absolutely no vegetation growing. It was completely devoid of vegetation, and the basic idea out here was to create a phytoremediation strategy. Now, the actual contaminants that are contained within this tailing pond are, there's no way that you can actually completely remediate this area and deal with all of the contaminants. So the basic strategy here was, it was phytoremediation, but it was also a lot of phytostabilization, trying to increase the aesthetics of the site to bring it back to more to its natural land use, because there is lush vegetation, as you can see in the background here. outside of the actual mine tailings pond, there's lush vegetation. And so when you come into this site and you see just, wide open, barren area, obviously it's quite indicative of all the issues that we're finding out here. You can see in the background there is still a lot of standing water. Now, a lot of this is from acid mine drainage. The acid mine drainage happens when a rainfall event occurs, and the water will run off of the mine and take with it a lot of the contaminants that are contained within the actual mine site. The acid mine drainage is an absolutely huge issue when it comes to decommissioned gold mines, even operational gold mines. But that was kind of outside of the realm that we were looking at with this project. It was something that I did a lot of research on because I think it's a very important part of the actual mining process and the remediation. But for now, we're going to actually focus on what the project involved here. So, how this project was set up, it was done in a randomized block format. There were essentially 5 different treatments and 1 control. One of the treatments was a lime-only treatment. Lime has traditionally been used in treating mine tailings because of the low pH. So what the lime is meant to do is to correct the pH imbalance, and hopefully, if that's the only issue, then plants will be able to grow. We'll see later how that turned out. But so we have a control, we have a liming treatment, and then we have 4 other treatments. The last treatment was actually brought in after the fact because of the availability of actual feedstock that was available within the area, which is a very important component to consider when you're looking at a project of this scale, because if you're having to import a lot of materials, your costs go way up. And it was also very important in this project to involve the surrounding communities and to try to deal with a lot of other waste issues that they have in the Dominican Republic, which being there and working with the people over here, we found was a major issue. There's not a very good waste management system, and so by incorporating some of the waste issues that they have found, that we found in the surrounding areas, and being able to apply it to another problem, the revegetation of the mine tailings pond, we kind of are dealing with 2 issues at the same time here, which is, I mean, whenever you can do that, it's absolutely phenomenal. We'll just go through here. It's just another picture of the actual project site. The amendments that were used were incorporated into the soil using rakes, and then for the planting of vegetation, there were 2 species, a trifolium species and a carrick species, which are native to the area. And so seeds were collected from the surrounding area where vegetation was actually growing, and the seeds were measured out so that they were evenly distributed on each one of the sites, and were also raked into the soil in equal amounts on each one of these sites. There was also a tame species, a creeping grass, turf grass, that was used just to determine if it would be beneficial for the revegetation of this area. So here's just a basic, block by block run through on the initial visit that we did to this site after the vegetation, had established. I should mention that this is only a few months after the seeds were planted, and for the first several weeks there was nothing that grew here. There has been, at this point in time, this is when we arrived